Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to explain and practically demonstrate about finally block in Java. So let's get started. So what exactly is this finally block? In the previous sessions, I covered try and catch blocks. Along with that blocks, we can also use something known as finally block. Finally block is an optional block. Okay, finally block is an optional block. It's not compulsory for you to use a finally block. We can use this finally block along with try catch block. Try catch blocks when needed. When needed. Okay. Since finally block is an optional block, you can create the try catch blocks without finally block, and also you can create the try catch block along with finally block. So we'll be using this finally block along with try catch blocks when needed. Okay, when needed. And what is the speciality of this finally block? What is the speciality of this finally block? Finally block will run, will run. Okay, finally block will run irrespective of whether an exception occurs or not occurs. Doesn't matter. Okay? Irrespective of whether an exception, irrespective of whether an exception occurs or not occurs, this finally block or the code inside the final block is going to get executed. What happens in real time is when an exception occurs, the control will go to the catch block. But if the exception doesn't occur, try block code will run. Okay, the entire try block code will run, but catch block code will get skipped. But if the exception occurs, the control from the try block will immediately go to the catch block. But is there any kind of thing in Java where no matter what, whether the exception occurs or whether the exception doesn't occur, we should get that piece of code to be compulsory executed. No matter what, that piece of code should run, whether the exception occurs or whether the exception doesn't occur while handling the exception. You want the piece of the code to get executed. That's where finally block will come into picture. Okay. The finally block, when specified along with the try catch blocks, whether the exception occur or doesn't occur, the code inside the finally block is going to run no matter what. Okay. So in real time, where exactly is this finally block used? In real time, where exactly this finally block will come to use? So for closing the files, we can use for closing the files or for closing the database connections, we can use this finally block. We can use a finally block for closing the files, for closing the database connections, and for closing for releasing the allocated memory. Okay, releasing the memory allocated to resources. Memory allocated to resources. So these are the major use cases where finally block will come to use. Okay, you don't have to understand how to. You see, there is a new. In the next session, we have a topic on file handling where you can use this finally block for closing those files. Okay, once the files got created, for closing the resources. Okay, now for closing the resources related to files, resources related to files, for closing the resources related to files, we can use finally block for closing the database connections. If you are working with database thing with programming in Java programming, if you are connecting to the database and later if you want to close that connection to the database in the program, then you can use a finally block. So I'm not going to cover all this stuff. They will be out of topic for us in this particular course at this point of time. So what I would like to show you is how to use finally block. Okay, first I want to demonstrate that finally block will run irrespective of whether an exception comes in the try block or not. After that, I'm going to give you one example where we can use finally block. Okay, I'll be using the finally block for closing the object of this scanner class. Okay, irrespective of whether the exception occurs or not, we are going to close the object of the scanner class. That example I'm going to give for practical demonstration in this session. So without any delay, let's move on to the practical demonstration where first step I want to show is irrespective of whether an exception occurs or not in the Java program while using the try catch block, whether the exception occurs or not, okay, the finally block code will run. That's what I want to prove first. For that, I'm going to create a new class, guys. I'm going to create a new class. I'll just name this class as some random name with main method, with main method. And here, I'm going to write the code. Okay, let me write the code here. So first I'll write the code like this: scanner is equal to new scanner. And here I'll write system.in. Now hover the mouse on this scanner and import this scanner from java.util package. Now here I'll write a print statement asking the user to enter first number. Okay, to enter first number, let's say. And here I'll write down scanner dot next int. And I'll be storing that particular thing into an integer. Int a is equal to I'll store. After that, I'll write one more print statement, writing enter second number. Okay, enter second number. So after that, I'll just simply write down int b is equal to scanner dot next int. Okay, I'll be capturing that second number also into the variable b. Now guys, I'm going to, I'm going to write this statement: int c is equal to a divided by b. Now after that, I would like to print the value of the c. Okay, I would like to print the value of C, and after that I would going to write some print statement saying program execution continues. And here at the end of this program, I'm going to write end of this program, let's say. So this is some sample program I have written. So here I'm not using any, exception handling I'm not using. So here some warning message is coming when I'm creating an object with a scanner class. After the task is done, okay, we can close this scanner thing. Okay, so here let me close this, okay, before the end of the program or something. Here let me close this scanner dot otherwise let me close it here. Okay, here let me close scanner dot close. Once the task of intaking the data into this variables from the user, the task is done of intaking the data from the user while running the program is done, I'm going to close the scanner object. If I don't close the scanner object, you see some warning message is coming. Resource leak scanner is never closed. So for these reasons, to overcome this warning message, it's not an error, but it's a warning message. To overcome this warning message, I'm just have to write this as a best practice so that the warning message will go, and also we will be closing the scanner object. Now let's run this code. When I run this particular code, guys, when I run this particular code, you see, it's asking me to enter the first number. If I'm entering the number like 9 and second number as 2, the 9 divided by 2 will happen here. Okay. Into the variable A, 9 will go, into the variable B, 2 will go. And after that, A divided by, that is B, that is 9 divided by 2. How many times? 2 fours are. That 4, okay, will be stored into the, how many times the variable A can be divided by with B, that result will be stored into C. So 9 divided by 2, 2 fours are 8. So that 4 will go into C. That 4 will be printed here. Yes, 4 got printed. After that, program execution continues. End of this program. All good so far. But this is a positive case of this program. What if the user enters the data like this: 9 as a first number and 0 as a second number? What will happen in this case? When I press enter, guys, into the variable A, 9 will go, and into the variable B, 0 will go. And when I say int C is equal to A divided by B, 9 will be divided by 0, which is not possible in Java. Okay, which is not possible in Java, because of which in this line 15 we are going to get an exception. Right, in Java it's not possible to divide a number with 0, and in the 15th line we are going to get an exception, and the remaining lines of the code will not get executed. Just press enter here and observe that here you are going to get an exception known as arithmetic exception. The reason behind the exception is you are trying to divide a number by 0. In which line? In 15th line we are getting that exception. Okay, in the 15th line we are getting the exception, and this is nothing but the arithmetic exception, guys. So how to overcome this exception? As we already know from the previous sessions that to overcome this exception, we have to use exception handling. Only one way of handling the exceptions in Java is by using the try catch block. So what I will do here is, okay, what I will do here is I'm going to, and there is one more problem also in this program. Apart from this arithmetic exception, there is one more possibility of the exception here. So this is a situation where you are getting the arithmetic exception when you are entering 9 and 0. What if I run the code again? And here in this case, if I am giving the values like 9 ABC, you see, if I'm entering some text into this variable B, okay, here next int is expecting integer, but we are entering the ABC. So which will give you an exception known as input mismatch exception, which will give you an exception known as input mismatch exception. And that is at the line 13, right? So this code is has a possibility of giving, okay, this particular code is having the possibility of getting two types of exceptions for now, arithmetic exception and input mismatch exception. So what I want to do here is I want to surround all this code with try catch block as part of handling both of the exceptions. Okay. So let's say I'll write the try block here, and here I'll close the try block. All this code, which may give the possibility of an exception like arithmetic exception and input mismatch exception, I'm surrounding with the try block. And here I'm going to write the catch block. I can write multiple catch blocks or single catch block. For now, I'm writing a single catch block, exception E, so that this exception is a parent class of arithmetic exception and input mismatch exception, so it can handle both the type of exceptions whenever they occur. I'll just write down system.out.println E. That's it. Okay. So whatever the exception that came, that will be printed here as part of handling. Now, by writing this catch block, okay, by writing this catch block, we'll be able to overcome the problem, right? So these exceptions won't come and the program execution will continue. Run this code. Here, if I give the positive things like 9 and 2, let's say, so 9 will go into A, 2 will go into B, 9 divided by 2, that is 4 will be stored into C, and value of C, that is 4, will be printed. So here in this case we are not getting an exception. In this case that we are not getting an exception, and scanner object also is closed here. Okay. So you see when you are entering 9 to here, 9 and 2 here, scanner object also is closed after intaking the 9 into the A and 2 into the B. Okay, after intaking 9 into the A and 2 into the B, scanner object is also getting closed, and the value of C will be calculated properly without any exception, and once printed, the 4 value will be printed here and the program execution will continue. Just see here, 4 got printed and after that program execution continued. This is a positive case. Let's see one negative case where I'll enter 9 here, and as a second thing I'll enter 0. What will happen when you try to divide a number by 0? What will happen? When you try to divide a number by 0, you are going to get an arithmetic exception. So in this particular case, 9 will go into A, 0 will go into B, and scanner object also will get closed. After that, this particular operation cannot be completed because 9 cannot be divided with 0 in Java, and which will give you an exception known as arithmetic exception. So from the line 16, the control will go to the catch block, and here the exception details will be printed. After that, program execution will continue because we have handled the arithmetic exception here in this case. Press enter, you see that the exception details got printed, but the program execution has not stopped because we have handled the exception here and program execution continued. Now the third case, here in the second case also the scanner object got closed. Now in the third case, if I run the code, if I'm giving 9 and second thing as ABC, 9 will go into A. In ABC cannot go into B because here we are expecting an integer number, but we are entering the text. Input mismatch exception will come in this 14th line, because of which control will directly go to the catch block. In this case, will the scanner object will get closed? Even though we are getting an exception in the line before where we are closing the scanner object, here itself we got an exception, right? Here itself we got an exception. Will the scanner object will get closed? No, right? Without closing the scanner object, we are going to the catch block and the exception details. Exception will be handled and program execution will continue no matter what. Okay, the program is working fine, but the only problem with this second negative situation here is the scanner object has not closed. Though the exception came and the exception got handled, but scanner object has not closed. Still, the scanner object has not closed. So that's what is the problem. So no matter what, whether the exception comes or whether the exception doesn't come, I want the scanner object to get closed. What's the best way? For that, we have to use something known as finally block is. Okay, we have to use something known as finally block, because finally is one such kind of block which will run no matter what, whether the exception comes or not, doesn't matter. So I'll take this scanner dot close and put it here in the finally. But I'm getting an error because scanner cannot be resolved, because scanner is created inside the try block. It's local to the try block. I cannot access the scanner outside the try block if it is created inside. So what I will do is I'll just take this declaration part of the scanner outside and remove the double declaration inside. Okay. Now scanner is equal new scanner. But still the error is still there. Why? Hover the mouse on that. What it is saying? You have to initialize the variable. Okay, this particular variable should be initialized. If it is only declared right in the line where it is declared and later it is created, that's okay. But in the line where it created, it's asking you to initialize. So just select this initialize variable. It will be assigned with null. Okay, before storing any object, if it doesn't have any reference or something, just put null, guys. Okay, store some null to overcome this error. Now this is the situation, guys. Now what will be happening here? What will happen here? So in all these three cases, the scanner object will get closed because finally block is a such kind of block in Java which will run no matter what, whether the exception comes here or not. In the try block, whether in the try block code, whether the exception comes or not, at the end, finally block will get executed. Catch block may get skipped, but finally block will compulsory run, guys. Okay, so run this code. And here, let me give the positive input 9 and 2 here. 9 will go into A, 2 will go into B. Okay, here 9 divided by 2, 4 will go here and 4 will be printed. Since code inside the try block got executed, okay, the catch block will be skipped because there is no exception in this case. And but finally block will get compulsory executed. Even after there is no exception here, the finally block will get executed, but catch block will get skipped. Here the object of the scanner class will get closed. Okay, in this case. Press enter, you see. In the positive case, the object of the scanner class is getting closed. Great, because finally block will get executed no matter what. So here I will simply write a print statement otherwise, okay? Scanner object got closed, I'll write, okay, as a proof. Now run this code. No matter what, whether the exception come or not, the scanner object is going to get closed because finally block will get executed no matter what, whether the exception comes in try block or not. Now run the code again. The second thing, I'll give 9 here and 0 here. What will happen in this case? 9 will go into A, 0 will go into B. 9 divided by 0 is not possible. So here we got an exception in the 17th line, because of which the control will go to the catch block and the exception details will be printed. Arithmetic exception details will be printed here. And after that, the control will go to the finally block, because even the exception come or not, finally block will be mandatorily run. You see, exception detail got printed, exception details got printed, and scanner object got closed. Here in exception case also, scanner object got closed. Now one more exception is there now. In that 9 ABC, if I give 9 will go into A, ABC will cannot go into B, because in this line itself, in 16th line itself, when you are entering ABC, this will give you input mismatch exception. From here itself, the control will go to the catch block and the details of the exception will be printed. After that, finally block will get executed where scanner object is still getting closed. You see, the problem is solved. The scanner object is getting closed no matter what in the program. So that's where the finally block is useful in Java programming, guys. No matter what, whether you get an exception in this try catch blocks, at the end, finally block code is going to get executed at any cost. Okay. So exception occurs, exception doesn't occur, finally block will be there to close the required things. Here in this case, it's closing the object of the scanner. That means it is releasing the memory allocated to it's releasing the memory allocated to this scanner object resource. It is deleting the memory allocated to scanner object resource. Similarly, we can use this finally block to close the resources related to the file classes, close the database connections which are made earlier. Okay, in that kind of situations, it will be useful. So hope guys you understood. Hope guys you understood how to use finally block. Okay, with a real-time example I explained, guys, and also I showed you that finally block code will get executed no matter what in the Java programs, whether the exception comes or whether the exception doesn't come, and where it will be useful also. I gave you one real example in this session. So that's all for this session. See you in the next session. Thank you. Bye bye.